Hi, my name is Kate McGeaney, and I am a 7th grade teacher here at Weiss Middle School. I teach 3 classes of language arts, 28 students usually, and I also teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade ELD levels, newcomers, and early advance. I've been teaching here for about 9 years, and I'm just finishing up my master's here at Concordia, and have spent a couple of years working on it. During those 2 years, the Common Core State Standards have changed a lot of what we do in the district as far as specifically how we teach, and then also communicating with students with what they are learning and why. So I spent a lot of time in PLCs, professional learning communities, district-wide as well as school-wide, working with other teachers that teach language arts and deciding whether what we teach is necessary and what are we missing. So it was kind of perfect timing to work on my master's because we were really digging into what we teach and why. And so creating my portfolio, which is what I'm presenting to you today, was pretty easy to get together because I've been doing so much work towards it anyway. So there's 9 sections in my portfolio, and I'm only going to talk about a few. One, most importantly, being the district curriculum map that we have created as a district team. There's 2 middle schools here at in our district, and we work together to first identify what do we teach. So we bullet pointed some of the major assignments that things that we teach, and what standard does it meet? So we could really look at, are we meeting these standards? Are there things that we don't need to do anymore? Are there things that we need to add in? And then we also jotted down some of our resources that we use to teach those things. And we created some I can statements so that we can communicate what it is that they are learning for students, what it is that they are learning, and what they should be able to do by the end of this first quarter. And so we did that for each quarter, and it was really a great thing because then in my classroom I post those I can statements, and I tell students, you know, you're going to be able to do these things by the end of this quarter, and if you can't, then we will continue working on them and move them on to the next quarter. Great communication tool for students, and also it kept me on track to make sure that I was teaching what I needed to be teaching. And it really led me to plan backwards, to take what is it that I want them to be able to do, and how will I get there. Another section in my portfolio is the smiley face tricks, or teaching craft, teaching how to write creatively. Another really important section, I think, is this section on artists in residence. Because we are limited in the amount of art that students can create because of all the budget cuts, I really try to incorporate some kind of art. And so this one was geared towards my advanced writers, and I created a contest where they had to come up with a 300-word essay, narrative, which was very challenging for them since most of them are writing books. And I took, it was about 8 students, and I had other teachers read their writing, and we chose a winner, and from that they wrote a poem from the narrative, and then I had an artist come in and teach them how to do claymation with that poem. So these are just some pictures from that. Okay, and finally, what most of the rest of my portfolio is based on is argumentative writing. With argumentative writing, it's really something new in the standards. There was always persuasive writing, so I was very familiar with persuasive writing, but argumentative is a little bit different, especially in that sense of students are now required to provide evidence for what they are saying. So I started out using debate to teach arguing. We had 3 debates. The first one was just argue. Just tell me what you think. And they, bickered back and forth. And what did we learn from that? No one was really getting anything across. So then we moved to, by our third debate, students not only had to say what they think, but they had to say what the other viewpoint was, then what they think, and then support it with evidence. So it was a little bit more in depth. They had to do some research, they had to listen, and they had to make good points. And that really got them to understand what is in an argument. So then I also did some other writing argumentative type things, and their research paper was based on arguing whether alternative energy was a certain alternative energy source was a good source of energy. The final area that I want to talk about in my portfolio is the student journal. They first design this, they put quotes, they put things all about them, so they have lots of things that they could write about in their journal. But in addition to their writing, so anytime they have a writing assignment, which is every week, they have to write about a certain topic. It's pretty open-ended. They also have all of the I can statements, what it is they're learning, and other notes from the class that they can then take with them at the end of the year and bring it with them to 8th grade. So I would love to see how many students have these with them in 8th grade, because there are lots of really useful tips and things that we did this year that they could possibly bring with them. So it's a nice little textbook to follow you to your next grade. And that's basically my portfolio. Just a good representation of what we do here in 7th grade and a good representation of what I've developed over the course of the last 2 years. Thank you for your time.